Yo, hello. Today is Unreal Engine. We're gonna mess around in here. It's the evening stream, new format, new tools, perfect timing for us. Come in here, mess around, see what we can make. Have a good old time. Get familiar with these new Unreal Engine motion design tools. Uh-oh. Camera's buggy. Uh-oh. We got a lot going on in this scene. Might be a no cam type stream. But so... Oh man. It's always yeah. Yeah. All right, all right. All right. So let's see. Is the camera gonna work? Okay, looks good. My name is Aptitude, and we are playing around inside of Unreal Engine 5.4. This is the new update. It's still in beta, so I mean, I'm expecting a few crashes. I'm still figuring this out. Wanted to put the cam on though. We can figure it out together. And so, as one does, the first thing I went and did was set up. I wanted to get these donuts reacting to an effector. When we bring it in, it eats up all the other... Oh, we lost some donuts. Oh, we lost quite a few. Okay. Still got these. Let's just get all the donuts. Like a vacuum. Yeah. At this point, it's basically a donut sim. You're wondering where I got these donuts from? They're from the Quixel Bridge. Goodbye, donuts. But yeah, pretty excited. All right, so I mean, it's pretty simple setup. Maybe we should repeat it. Maybe that can be how we start things. Trying to go through the setup for this type of donut Mobius. Is that the right term? Mobius loop. Is that the right thing? Mobius loop? Mobius strip? We could also light this in different ways. We could bring this thing over. This light. Get real cinematic with it. I guess we could also do Well, let's add another. Let's add this light. Do some hot, warm colors. Let's do another. Oh, reset. Oh, because I duplicated it. That was a mistake. Man, that's pretty satisfying to watch, though. This, and let's make this one the cool one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and we could turn off the skylight. No, atmosphere. Yeah. And turn up the exponential fog. Ooh, moody. Fog density. Okay, whatever. What if we mess with some other lights here? Let's get spotlight. Is that doing anything? Inner cone, outer cone. Oh, that's it. Oh, there we go. Is it? Oh. Let me go in the light. There we go. Donuts. Put on some music. Yo, Rana Joy. How's it going, man? We got the Mobius donut strip. You tried making something for FL, Ableton, and Bitwig, and now have Reason 5. You'd learn every single DAW. I want to get laser lights in here. Oh, my camera. RIP. Yeah, I'm turning this thing off. Stupid camera. My computer can't handle Unreal Engine and streaming, it seems like. My cam. Z30 cam. Deactivate. The jungle render I made was literally because I ran out of GPU memory, so I just put a camera and render outside out the backside of my environment. The main part I spent working hours, never seen the light of day. Yep, that happens. That happens. I kind of like that song. I like the artist AU5. Big fan. And that's a Monster Cat song that I can play on stream. So maybe I should make something to that song. The main part is spent. Here, let me check that out. Oh, the only thing is, like, if I click away, this pauses. Actually, that was a setting I put. I think I could change that. I don't know, I have no idea how to do that. I'm gonna go back and change that. Oh. Oh yeah, I remember this. These are Quixel Megascan donuts. And so if you put this actor in here, and we add a transform, and I don't want that song. How do I disable it? Okay, and then this transform, we can go here, same thing as yesterday, right? Look at rotation. Oh. Frame 0. Rotation. Keyframe. What the? Transform? Or is it path? No, it's transform. Why is this one grayed out though? Oh, this is not the same thing. Oh. Not sure what's going on, but it looks cool. I'm trying to make donuts. I'm trying to get these donuts to spin into a donut. So it's like individual donuts become like this super donut. And I got it. It works. It like turns into a donut if I let it run for long enough. But now I'm trying to set up a camera. If you make the camera a child of like a null object, and then you spin it, then the camera's locked. I mean, it's like around the axis point, you know. We also got this thing. So let's put this in. So this. Expose it? I have to expose it? Huh. I don't think that's the same thing though. Hold up. If I delete this, let's try that again. This. Keyframe, like that? Oh, now it's doing it. Okay. We go to frame, I don't know, 90. Huh. Reminds me of this. Oh, I mean, that's more or less what I did with the donuts, but instead of particles, it's donuts. Oh, this thing wasn't even close to it. Oops. Donuts are particles. That's true. That's true. That's facts. Wait, this is turning into a pancake or a muffin? Donuts are muffins at their core. But if you see the effector here, because it's basically I was playing around with these forces. I just turned on these and then like tweak them. It's just vortex. And then there's a curl noise. So if we turn the curl noise off. Whoa. Oh. Oh my God. Beautiful. Oh. Like a flower. You know? Oh my God, look at that. A phyllotaxis. I don't know. I gotta. Dang it! But if I click off, it pauses the. Yes, that's the correct term, man. That's a great term. You nailed it. I couldn't think of the word. That's what I was getting at, but I'm not even gonna pretend like I was gonna pull that word out. I'm confused though why this isn't camera actor, cinema camera actor. We're in it. And so if why it's not Why isn't it reacting? Let's see if it looks how it looks on high. This might. Whoa. Whoa. It's beautiful. Can we make the donuts transparent? No, no, no. No, 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 no. Point light. Oh my god. Beautiful. I'm gonna turn this up. I tried making that pattern with geonodes in Blender a long time ago. Oh. It looks like that looks like Philotaxis. Kind of look like fishes swimming around. I mean, that definitely no Philotaxis. That's the, you know, it's like a nature pattern that forms in nature, right? Yeah. What if we turn on the most efficient pattern? Yes. I have created the most efficient donut pattern. And it's freaking out because of these lights, I think. These lights are kind of messing with it. Gotta go learn Reason. Yeah. Man, this looks delicious. All right, I'll see you. I'll be here. You know where to find me. Let's see. I think I get if we go and try to make something else. What? I think I got to mess around with. Donut. Let's make a new one. New level. Motion graphics. Create. And okay, so I wanted to play around in here. What did I want to do? I don't know, just nothing specific, just kind of mess around. These symbols, if we open up this stuff, material designer, motion designer, operator, remote, material, create defaults. No, over here. Create defaults, motion design. And just see what we can make. So at this angle, for some reason we get this grid. I'm not sure why. Or how to get this, like in the other version. But I like it. Ring. Actually, let's just delete this stuff. Let's delete this. Let's just play around. sequencer, if we make another sequence here, yeah, so we can extrude this. We right click, add modifiers. Oh, there's outline. Bevel. No. Extrude? Is it in here? Extrude. Nope. Export. No. Simple. Oh, let's turn on some. Let's do something a little more chill. Catalog. Genre. What is it? This. Here it is. Okay. Let's just put. If I grab these things. Huh? What? Select a tool to start drawing. Shift click will show tool presets. Oh? Oh? How do I add points? Oh. What? Huh? What? Oh. Okay, we've got a new point. Making progress. Okay, we've got a spline. All right, now to attach a thing. Let's attach a thing to this. One thing. These things. The chevron. Isn't that not a type of car? Okay. Now, I mean, do we just do that? No. Do we turn it into a static mesh? I don't know. Shape. Attach parent? That sounds right. Parent. Okay, so the idea is that I'm gonna repeat this, right? I'm gonna put a repeater on it, and then it's gonna go along the path of the thing that we made. First thing is make a repeater. And does it need to be... Might need to be turned into a thing. Into a static mesh. And then before we do that, do we want to can we extrude it? Meshes, camera, shape. So how to extrude this? I think it's just a modifier, right? And extrude. Okay, let's phone a friend.
With that, you still get access to each individual part. So I'm pulling down there and kind of accessing. You can make them lit, unlit materials. We read the SVGs and take the color, for example, directly from them. And then we create materials for you that are dynamic materials. So we don't import hundreds of things into the content browser. And you can see you can add bevels and extrudes and that kind of thing to each one of those. And then you can animate them as well inside of Sequencer. I don't showcase it here in this example, but you still have all the independent parts and then can change and put any custom materials on them and override if you want. So a lot of power in those kinds of features. Here you can see we're playing around a little bit with our modifier system. So the panel that's there, you can see we have
Oh, there we go. And we can add a modifier to this thing. Or not. I don't really get why it's not there, but it's on this one. Greater range? Oh. Oh. Man, that's interesting. But not really what I'm looking for. Layout a line between? Ooh, that might. Oops. Line between. I feel like this is actually very close to what I'm trying to do. Oh, wait. Enabled? Oh, yes. I think that. And then underneath this, if I do okay. I could do like a duplicate normal pattern. Should be moved above layout modifiers. look at. Oh, I know what these are. I was wondering about this type of these. What is this? Previous, next. This one for sure. Huh? Maybe. Oh, that's probably it, right? Reset this stuff. Huh? What about this line? It's so weird. It is. It's definitely. It's doing something. Oh. Oh. Alright, let's just keep messing around. Keep playing. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's actually pretty sweet. What's even happening here? Oh, it's going around. It's pretty cool. Oh, and because of the way that I'm spinning it, it's kind of doing a weird motion here. But let's see if we bring this back. Ah! Wow, that's weird. Okay, alright, alright, alright. Anybody's watching, they're gonna get sick. Huh. That matches the music perfectly too. I love it. How do I just repeat this? How do I just get this to repeat? Okay, but let's get this bouncing around. We're gonna delete this thing. Animator. Okay, let's try with this one. Something else. Let's try pulse. Yeah. Oh, wacky, wavy. Or this is like a. That's actually what I wanted for the other one. And then there's this group. I keep seeing the groups. I could change it for each song. Yo, thanks for the follow. Zucrutiz. Thanks, man.
I feel you. Every time a palm tree shakes, every time a plane takes off, every time a star shakes off the sadness of the night. I see you with every light, with every bite the sea takes from the sandy shore, with every open, tired door. In your
Oh. Hey, Emma Chi on YouTube. Hello. The camera's blown up, but that's okay. Oh, there we go.
Looks so happy.
Oh,
Here I go again. Thinking I could just pretend. Breathe it in, don't hesitate. Succumb, let it seep in deep until it hits your face. It comes till you feel it. The sun will rise tomorrow, and we will still be here. You are alive, you are a reason why. You are alive, you are a reason. Just let me tell you what it feels like. Two hearts are beating at the same time. We align, you and I. Doesn't feel real sometimes. There are no words to describe it. You're like a mirror catching the light. Whispered words and the sounds brought us together somehow. Miracle, you and I. We're like a mirror ball spinning around. I've never felt quite like this. I didn't need to fall in love again. I've never felt quite like this.
oh, I think this is the thing I was looking for.
You are alive, you are a reason why. You are alive, you are a reason. Just let me tell you what it feels like.
extrudes, outlines, bevel, but you still have all the independent parts, and then can change it. Put any custom materials on them and override if you want. So a lot of power in those kinds of features. Here you can see we're playing around a little bit with our modifier system. So the panel that's there, you can see we have different extrudes, outlines, bevels. We actually have like an array and clone that's inside there that we call the pattern. We have a mirror modifier, so I'm mirroring this on the left and the right. I'm able to take those in, and it's just fun to be able to play with these kinds of things fully live. We even have things like bend and taper and some deformers that are in there as well. So next up, David's going to tell us a little bit about the material design.
Yeah. So the material designer, building materials in Unreal Engine for people who come from other industries that are more accommodating of like Photoshop and all those kinds of layer-based material systems, or layer-based just design systems. When they come to Unreal, it's like, what's going on here? So what we've kind of done is we've tried to create a system where you guys can kind of layer up and build kind of custom designs in a format and a design system that's a bit more familiar. So what we've got here is we have a 2D element that we brought in, this character, and we've got this cool background that's kind of chilling back there. And let's say we just want to layer that up. We can move that to the background. It can hang out back there. We can reorder these layers. We can adjust their opacity. In this case, we're adjusting some of the transforms to kind of move these properties around, move these elements around on the screen. And we're going to add kind of a little effect here. And what's nice is we have this system of blend modes that should be super familiar to anybody who's kind of used, any of the major kind of image compositing programs. In this case, we're going to go ahead and add that back there, that glow, and we're going to have it be an add to kind of make things glow a little bit. And we have kind of a global opacity slider here that'll kind of let you kind of do that to every element at the same time, or each individual element that we're trying to show in here. All of this is keyframeable, as you would expect. And so as we kind of move forward here, this kind of cyc that's in the background, we're also able to move that with the offset controls, because we have full kind of UV animation controls that you can keyframe. So kind of give this whole thing some depth, give it a background, have the background move, all the kind of effects you'd expect from being able to do this kind of stuff in the typical kind of 2D kind of compositor. So yeah, that's what we have going on there. And all of this, what's really cool about it is as you're building it up in this system, it's not just living here and it's done. This is actually building a real Unreal material that is a whole lot more nodes than what we're showing there. And that's kind of what you're able to, at any point, flip this button over and see what this is actually doing in the background. And you can take that material, copy it over, and actually use it as a proper Unreal material. And this kind of gives you a nice jump start, if you will. It saves you a bunch of time and also kind of lets people onboard into our system pretty quickly.
Yeah, so that's a lot of kind of where we were at throughout the year in April. Now I'm going to show you more of the progress of since then. So the big change is now that this is just a mode of the engine. It's a motion graphics mode. So you can engage with all the other kinds of modes that you're used to, the landscape mode and the world building modes that you're typically used to, so the modeling tools and that kind of stuff. So now we've transitioned to just be in the level editor full time. You can see here, this is an example I made with the Twin Motion Watch, the ability to be able to use the camera cut system and bring all these things in. You can see I get volumetric light. In the background, I have a small cloner system like I was showing, just to scatter some of these things. They're actually just small, tiny spheres. And then the watch face itself is actually the internal geometry tools that I was just showing you. So I just made one of those cylinders and I rotated it around and animated it. And the cool part is, typically you're doing this in 2 or 3 applications. And now, because this is all native and built in, you can stay in that creative flow very easily.
Oh, I wonder.
Going back to the meshes, for example, and just changing, the offsets of these. If someone gives you notes, you don't have to go back and re-render things and send it back and forth. It's just a very nice, easy way to work. So. Yeah, we think, and we're very excited in the next version of the beta. This
might blow things up
to the community, and excited to see where people go and where people take it. So a little bit more on the cloners and effectors. So the cloner system under the hood is built by our Niagara particle system. So the cool part is we can start to add forces. So I'm making a cylinder here, I'm kind of scattering them and adding some randomization to that. And as you saw, I was moving those effectors through, but now we can actually just start to add forces to those as well. So we can add curl noise, for example, and just get some of that undulation and things like that very easily. So again, this is fully live. You can go ahead and nest other objects inside of it and it will replace those particles, but we're starting to add all kinds of forces. So I'll show you in this example here, we have the ability to take like a whole system and just add some movement, some orientation to it. We have the ability to turn on the overall like per clone rotation, and you can change those. And then we're adding the curl noise in there as well. The things we're looking at next is some of the gravity forces and the other things that come with you know, the dynamics and the physics side of Niagara. And so, you know, as of this week, we've been able to get some of those things in where you can move those effectors through and it starts to add those forces where those effectors hit. So it's just a very cool, creative process. Here is showing you on those, we've added the ability to clone those along the splines. So you can see these little tread marks here, for example. You can see in the viewport, there's a whole series of splines. So designers like to work this way because it's very procedural. You can move those around, you can have those things follow, and obviously kind of art direct them to your heart's content. So you can see in this example, the ability to just clone those things along the splines and then have them reveal on. And then lastly, as well, we've added the ability to use texture maps. So you can see here's a massive grid of clones. And you have the ability to say, hey, let's mask those to a texture. So it's just a white and black texture that we had from our Rocket League session. And you can see here now we're getting to get some of that reveal coming across with using texture maps. So obviously we'll continue to take this further, but it's starting to become a very solid base for design. Next up, in viewport editing, we've added the ability for you to, anything that you use in the details panel as you favorite can show up inside of the viewport. So you can see here, I take an HDRI, I've added that in, and now I can basically not have to go back to the details panel, but I can edit things in context very easily. So I'm changing, you know, just some of these settings. The cool part is, you know, if you do this for a spotlight, all the spotlights can show up that way, and you can move these about. So in a second here, you'll see in the bottom left corner, you can drag these around, you can dock them, you can snap them together. And so it just makes for a very artist-friendly workflow.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit quickly about text and font features. Everyone's most exciting topic, I know. So what you're able to do now is you can browse system fonts, you can browse project fonts, you can kind of like, the whole system's kind of open to you literally. Just grab fonts wherever you need to. You can preview all that stuff before you even import it to save you that little bit of time. We have a bunch of font styling tools that we're going to show in a second here. Let's get to those. We're still switching fonts, and that's completely exciting, but powerful. So once you're kind of in there, you can switch between the various font types, so bold, italic, all that good stuff, all the stuff you'd want from fonts. So once you're in there, let's get through that part. We're going to get to some font styling in a moment here, I promise. So any of these fonts are able to be 2D or 3D. They can be extruded, beveled, and you can apply different materials to their various faces, like you would be able to in any kind of 3D program. And so that's all for fonts.
So materials, in the beta, you know, people have asked us a bit about, you know, what do you guys want to do with materials? Obviously, we have the Quixel library. We have some very specific needs around materials and the masking and the items we're showing. We're using transparency in some very specific ways. So we're starting to think through and want to provide a small library of elements that would get you started quicker, faster, better for the 3D. We showed you some of the 2D and 2D material creation side of things. But look out for this. This is something that we're starting to put a little bit of focus in within our team. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the animation improvements improvements. So we've added a thing that we call animators. Animators, you can target any specific property. So this isn't the final UX. We're still in beta, so we're trying to figure some of this out. But you can go ahead and say, hey, I want to add a wiggle to the X and Y values here, and I'm going to go ahead and change the strength of these. So you can start to see it's building up that animation. And now we can go ahead and start to add that per character. So, I'm starting to crank the values and go nuts on these. But this can be targeted to any property. So I'm using text, but it could be spotlights, for example. So kind of like a cooking show, I'm going to go ahead and turn on a couple of the spotlights, and now I'm getting some roaming, wiggling position of those. And so far, we've tackled some of the basics. We're going to have like the wiggles, the bounce, the randoms, those kinds of things. But we'd love to talk with you and see where you'd like us to go next. Obviously, we have a list, but we should compare notes after the talk if you want. So the next step is to do something with a bounce. So this is kind of like a text effect, if you will, where you can add a bounce to the Z. So I'm going to go ahead and crank the values a little bit. You can see it's the whole word, but now I need to do a little bit of range selection, and you can see I'm starting to get like that bounce animation. So these, again, are those hallmarks of motion graphics, the ability to be able to, obviously we see this stuff all day, every day on the kind of content you watch on TV and online. So yeah, it's going to be a fun feature, and we'd love to collaborate with you guys on that.
So rigging and templating, everyone here who's in the broadcast industry would know that's a pretty core part of what we do. These graphics need to be kind of set up so we're successful on the road, right? We can quickly type things in. So what we've kind of got going here is our system that we had built for the SBs and helped to build with that, where you're able to kind of go in and you can change color scheme based on this property up here. It'll go from the various spots and change the text, and along with that text, it's going to expand the bar. So as you can see on the kind of top line there, it will expand and contract with the size of the text. So all this will auto size, that's what the actual tool is called. And as you do the same thing with the main bar, same thing's going to happen there. As you add a line 2, we kind of have it so that it'll automatically expand the height as well. So it's pretty active design that we're able to accommodate here that we're pretty used to at this point in this industry.
And the cool part about this is you don't have to code these things. This is all part of our layout modifier system, which we didn't dive into too much detail to show here, but it's very, in the same way, designer friendly of being able to, but we do show a little bit of that in the coming slides. So. Oh yeah, on this one, so this is a little dive deep. You can see here that we can target any property. So we're going to go ahead and change a bunch of colors. Across that we have 10 different colors we need to control at once. For someone who's an operator, they just want one place where they can change all of those things. So we have the ability to link those up, which David will show a little bit next. You can see that you can auto-size that content so that the bars end up fitting correctly. It's important for these designs and for templating that you need to be able to type any text in there, and you don't want it to be able to bump into the guy's shoulder, for example, so you need to max size those things to fit. And so you can see that we have a lot of tools built in there that are very artist-friendly. In this example here, you can see oftentimes you build one layout that needs to have multiple purposes. So you build layouts that have 2, 3, 4 options into them, or it could be a video box, or it could be sponsor on the left, sponsor on the right. And these are all done with our remote control and the rigging logic that we're showing you. So we're using like our modifier system there. We have a grid arrange, and that allows you to change how many rows are visible to the user. So you can change this anywhere from 5 to 10 rows of text, for example. And then we'll be showing more of this, but this is our playlist tool, and we even designed all the lower thirds that were for these demo videos inside of this system. So this is intended to be able to play out all that content live, and then as you can see, each one of those graphics becomes a template that you can then version and play.
So what we've kind of showing here is we basically have an equivalent of a field ID system going on, where we are able to take multiple properties. In this case, we're going to be setting a texture, color, and some text. And you can assign those to a property ID/field ID. We haven't settled fully on a name yet, but we'll let you guys know as soon as we have one. So as you kind of go through here, we have a conditional behavior happening where, if you set it to 1, let it give me some red background on all of my elements here, and then set the texture accordingly, and then set the text to something. In this case, this is a red headline, panic. So we're going to be doing this for each of these numbers that we're going to be setting down here. 1, 2, and 3 are going to give us different results. This is a super kind of common need to be able to set things according to like an integer in this case. So yeah. Now, all this kind of leads into something we've been asked about many times, which is when are we going to have a system to do a sort of transition, live transition between graphics, and be able to keep certain graphics on the screen, take certain graphics off the screen, and kind of assign everything to layers so you can go and advance it. So, what we're working with here is I'm going to play this thing out, and we've got a lower third. That lower third has a very specific job, and we're going to tell what that job is using this system. In this transition layer, we have preset groups that you can assign however you want. In this case, we have one called L3. We're going to take this graphic, we're going to assign it to that group, and we have a whole state tree system that we will go into in more detail at a later time because it's a lot to talk about right now. But the point is that graphic has now been assigned as a lower third. System knows it is that, and so forth. We're going to make another graphic here and assign that graphic to basically an upper left, or upper right rather. And so we're going to go in, assign it to a slab, and there you go. Once you've done that, you can go to, we're going to do one more scene. This will all coalesce, don't you worry. We're going to have a widget that's going to be an upper left. In this case, it's handling like a locator. And we're going to do the same thing. Go ahead and assign it. And once it's all assigned, and rigged, obviously. Skip that part, but that's just a minor detail. Then we can go into our playlist tool. And from the playlist, we're able to kind of play those things out and preview them like you'd expect. And then we're eventually going to be able to take them to air. But right now, let's preview this lower third and check it out. We're going to pick one more. There it is. And it's going to bring in a slab, upper right and upper left. So we got our locator there. And now let's flip this thing over and take a look at the playout and see how this would all look. So, White House, right? Got a graphic coming in, lower third, okay, great. That's on its own layer. It can come and go as it pleases. We have our upper right, that's got a whole other thing, and our locator in the upper left. We can now, because we've assigned things, switch that lower third to a totally different lower third with nothing else being affected by that, and bring in a different lower third, change the upper right, upper left, and then just kind of go from there. And then take everything out at the same time, or take everything out individually. In this case, we chose to take it all at the same time. So yeah.
Yeah, so key to that is the playlist tool, which we've been prototyping for the broadcast side of things. And with this, we're working with a whole series of partners as well on the broadcast industry. As many people know, we have a lot of partnerships on that side of things. So we've been developing this out, and we actually have run a couple shows with this playlist tool now. But you can get program preview, there's key and fill graphics. As David was showing, there's multi-layer output for those. You have the ability to template those pages and change the values with remote control. And as I was mentioning, we have a pretty rich API. So if you're in that space where you develop applications that want to control Unreal, come see us and we'd love to chat with you. So last bit, data integrations. One thing, here's a quick example, just showcasing how you can take something and get like data from an Excel spreadsheet into Unreal. So obviously Unreal, the things that we've been doing, it goes pretty far, but in this example, we're using the remote control to plot, where the hurricane path is going to be, and some of those spline tools. So all of the actual shapes and things like that in this very kind of cartoony example is built up through that suite of the geometry tools that I was showing you. And then the ability to change those values, but ingest things through that remote API that allows you to pull in those data sources. So last thing, I think feature-wise, we're going to talk about is a feature we call Storm Sync. So in this example here, this again, it might be a little bit of inside baseball, but oftentimes in that broadcast industry, you need the ability to have machines that are offline. They don't have internet access, and you need to be able to share the files between them. So we have the ability to pack these files into what we call an SPAC file. And what it will do is it will go ahead and condense all those files into like a zipped file that you can then share amongst projects. So I could say, hey David, I finished this scene, let me send it to you. You could be in a different location. You can take that SPAC file, so I'm opening a different project here. I drag and drop that into the content browser, and it will unpack that and make the exact same content folder structure that I have. There's actually a unique hash to it, so it keeps track of the individual elements. So if all I updated was, the animation and the level, we don't need to send all the texture data, we don't need to send all the geometry data, we can just send that element along and it will slide in nicely. So it's not 100% of a source control replacement, such as Perforce, but the ability to take those elements and kind of share them amongst artists in an easy way where you have access to all those is what we've done. So yeah, to kind of wrap things up a little bit here, so roadmap and timeline, just kind of showcasing, obviously we covered a lot of features. We've been working on this since the 5.2 from a few years ago, and so 5.3 is out now, and you can kind of see there. But right now, the plan of record is to ship this in the 5.4 timeline, which will be out around GDC timeframe next year. So we're working on many of those elements that I have listed there now, scene transitions, and state manager, masking, animators, modifier systems, those kinds of things. So we're getting close to a near release, but if you're interested in the beta, and especially if you work for a big media company and are excited to test out these tools, come find us after this and we'll link you up. But yeah, we'd love to hear your guys' feedback. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, one more time with that song, and then I'm out of here. All right, that was fun.